I'm calling tonight's meeting of the Hamilton East Public Library Board of Trustees here on December 3rd, 2024 to order. Here we go. First is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, you've all received the agenda, which just has renovation projects updates and the comments of the public. Part of the meeting, having a quick conversation, looking at the email. There are two things that we might add to it. We want to get everybody's sense. Is do we want to talk about tree? We do have some additional faces to talk about the tree with. We don't have Bill yet. I'm looking at Susan because Buildings and Grounds Committee has learned about the tree a lot. But I also don't know if we just want to wait for our next meeting. It wasn't a huge rush, and we more or less tabled it to December. So I'm okay with it. Is that fair? Okay. The other topic is that I was thinking about adding to the agenda, want to get input on, is this afternoon, Kelsey Sweet had sent an email out asking board members, or I think her direct ask was asking a board member to provide answers to purposes of blog entry, and just to see who might be interested in doing that, and say, hey, go forth and conquer, and just get on there. So I would suggest that as an item in business for us, especially given our prior conversations about who speaks on behalf of the board. I'm going to add that to the business, and let's rock and roll. Comments from the public. Next is renovation projects update. Sir?
Perfect. I have some news for the board. As you might be aware, the Fishers the Fishers Library project is kind of wrapped up, and there are two pending issues that are kind of in dispute right now. One was the amount that is remaining due and owing under the standard form agreement that was entered into between HEPL and Turner. And then on top of that was Turner's claim for additional costs for work and materials that they provided above and beyond the previously agreed to contract balance. We have been working to try to reach an amicable resolution with Turner on those issues. And I think we've come to some proposed terms for your consideration. You have in front of you what is a mutual release and settlement agreement that contains a memorialization of those terms that RL Turner would be willing to agree to, subject to board approval. You'll see that this document resolves all current disputes between RL Turner and HEPL related to this. Specifically, it has kind of two parts that are on there. The first part involves resolution of pay application 29, which the board may be aware pay application 29 is the final pay application for all work that was performed by RL Turner and subcontractors on this project. They have agreed to accept the amount of $643,208.56 to close out the contract balance that was due under the original agreement, and a series of 62 change orders that have previously been executed by the board or its representatives. On top of that, of course, beyond the contract balance is Turner's claim for additional time, materials, and compensation that they have for work that was performed beyond the original contract due date. There was obviously a wide variety of opinions as to what that amount was. We worked with Turner to try to understand what the scope of that work is and to find out what is the material benefits that the library received to try to reach a fair resolution of that matter. And after much discussion and even a mediation session with Turner, the parties have indicated that Turner will be willing to accept the sum of $425,000 to fully resolve that claim. If this mutual release and settlement agreement is reviewed and accepted by the board, it will essentially resolve all outstanding disputes with Turner related to the Fishers project. It will wrap up Turner's work on the project. There will not be performing any additional work or functions, except for the release does specifically carve out the ability for the library to maintain claims for warranties, design defects related to construction or materials or workmanship that are all provided for under the original contract and its governing general terms. So those are not being released, but otherwise, any disputes related to this project are done. Turner will be off the site and we'll be done at that point. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
So with that, again, this document represents a good faith negotiation resolution of all claims. I would recommend, I think it's beneficial to the library. It's fair compensation to Turner for the work that was performed, as well as a fair resolution to the library that it saves them from costs that likely should not have been done under the contract. And then if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's fair to say that the pay application number 29 is ballpark where we expected that to be.
Correct. Yes.
And then the settlement amount, you know, you said there was wide variety. It's considerably wide variety of where those numbers are, right?
Correct. At times, the most recent demand kind of before these negotiations and disputes had really arisen. The last formal demand before that was a little over, I think, $1.7 million when all was said, which included, you know, a lot of charges for Turner's additional time and general conditions on that, as well as some subcontractor charges that they've had multiple subcontractors on the project. So the Turner has taken a lot of those charges off the table. This money now is really just to get its subcontractors paid and give them compensation for the work that they actually did perform on the project.
And so that's meaningful benefit that the library.
Correct. Yep.
And then if we were to proceed and not settle it at this point or any time in the future, next steps are what, arbitration, potential litigation in court?
Correct. And along with that comes increased costs to the library for attorney's fees. The discovery process is always expensive. There will be expert fees, as well as you still face the potential at that point in time for an award from an arbitrator.
Any concerns, Melissa, for having the money, the funds to pay these two amounts?
No, there's several places that we could pay this from, but there are definitely. Motion accepted.
I would, unless there's additional discussion, I'd entertain a motion on this mutual release and settlement.
I will move to accept the mutual release and settlement agreement as written.
Second.
Yeah.
All right, motion, motion, Michelle, give it a second. Any other further discussion? I think the only other discussion point is right now the mutual release and settlement agreement just calls for perhaps library by blank title blank. Would you consider it a friendly amendment if I were to add that our library director be empowered specifically through this motion to sign that?
I so move.
And I second. We'll take two.
And that to me makes more sense than any one of us. I know Craig has been on your hip the whole time, and has been terrific in marshaling us through this, between having our board president and Melissa helps with that. But my perspective is just having our library director sign the contract. Any other discussion before we take vote? All right, motion before us to approve mutual release and settlement agreements in 3 pages to be specifically empowering the library director to sign that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it carries unanimously. Thank you.
Yes.
No.
No roll call is needed. Thank you for your work on this. I know it's not done, but we look forward to hearing from you on all the other angles that our predicament might bring us.
Absolutely. Keep you informed.
Appreciate that. Is there anything else you need from us
You need that.
or that Melissa needs?
If you want to keep an official copy for the record, that's fine. I can take the other copies back.
Do you need me to sign this tonight?
You can, or you can just sign it, send it to me.
Copy she has, Steve, see official.
Perfect. Thank you guys very much, and I will keep your hands.
Sounds good. Anything else on the renovations update, renovation projects update?
No.
And I'll move into old and new business. Kelsey's email, I don't know how many of you, it came in this afternoon at 1:30. So Kelsey wrote, we're doing a series on the HEPL blog this year to highlight how the library works behind the scenes. We'd love to highlight the board of trustees for our next blog. The blog is formatted in Q&A style, like the Word document below. One of you could provide a short paragraph answer to each question and include any photos you might have. This blog is scheduled to go out on December 20th, so we need your answers by December 13th. Turn around about 10 days. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. So, given our prior discussions, I figured we could talk about this here, just see if anybody has the throughput to get that done in the next 10 days. In this compressed Thanksgiving to Christmas time.
Well, I was thinking about this, that, it might make sense to have one of our authors complete that, who is in orbit, and Bill's not here, so.
Yeah. When?
Well, that's funny because I was leaning towards the board member who's been serving the longest.
I got front of that, didn't I?
That's what made the most sense. But
No, I'm happy to do it. I may have to ask you some questions. I'll shoot you an email.
Fair,
There's something that I
deal,
come across that I'm not, in my limited experience.
okay,
I like that.
for sure, let me know.
Back end, what do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like it.
As
So,
far as photos go,
yeah,
I don't know, does the library have any photos of us?
there's some screenshots from board meetings in 2022 and 2023.
Let's not use those.
Hold it. All around.
Yeah, I'm sure we.
There's gonna be some.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so-
have no.
So you can
Nor
do
do
it,
I.
I can do,
and
yes.
you'll help.
Yeah,
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So if you can just let Kelsey know.
I think we have some ribbon cutting.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, those are perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so if you can just let this week know that, Susan's the
Designated, right?
designated writer.
Well, you are the secretary, so that makes sense.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You came prepared. All right, then I think that's the end of that.
Motion to adjourn?